Hello everyone, this is the Professor Ricardo Explains channel. Let's solve another problem of classical mechanics by Goldstein. In this problem, we have a generalized potential and we will work on the generalized forces in both Cartesian and spherical polar coordinates. Before solving the problem, let me tell you that we have a playlist for the solutions of the Goldstein's classical mechanics problems. Help our channel subscribing and becoming a member. You will get access to exclusive members-only videos. Your like is also very helpful for our channel to continue helping students all over the world. And let me also thank recent members of our channel. Thank you for your support. Okay, Chapter 1, Problem 15. A point particle moves in space under the influence of a force derivable from a generalized potential of the form URV is equal to VR plus sigma dot L, the angular momentum, where R is the radius vector from a fixed point, L is the angular momentum about that point, and sigma is a fixed vector in space. A. Find the components of the force on the particle in both Cartesian and spherical polar coordinates on the basis of equation 158, which is this one here. B. Show that the components in the two coordinate systems are related to each other, as in equation 149, which is this one. And C. Obtain the equations of motion in spherical polar coordinates. So it is a very long problem. Let's start with letter A, obviously. Here is the generalized potential, and we are going to use this equation to obtain the generalized forces. First, in Cartesian coordinates. Let's rewrite the generalized potential explicitly in terms of the coordinates and velocities. So this term is actually sigma dot the vector r cross mv, the momentum. And we can write this term as the mass times, in index notation, the sum over L of sigma L times the L component of this vector, r cross v. You can review index notation in this well-known lecture of our channel, where we discuss summation, Kronecker delta, Levi-Civita tensor, and so on. Here, the vector r is obviously x, y, and z. But we can use the index notation of x1, x2, and x3. So let's rewrite this component of the vector r cross v as the sum over m and n of the Levi-Civita tensor Lmn of x m times x dot n, which is the velocity. Combining these two sum symbols, let's write it as the sum over Lmn epsilon times sigma L xm xn. Okay, so this is the generalized potential written in terms of the Cartesian coordinates, in terms of the position and velocities. Of course, you have r here, but r, we know that it is the square root of x squared plus y squared plus z squared. In terms of index notation, it will be the square root of x1 squared and so on. Now, let's use this equation to obtain the components of the force in Cartesian coordinates. So instead of qj, we have xj. So the negative of del u del xj plus ddt of del u del xj dot, which is clearly the component fj in Cartesian coordinates. So let's rewrite this result. Fj is equal to this equation here. And let's proceed calculating what is del u del xj. Well, del u del xj is del v del xj plus m. Here, when m is equal to j, del xj of this term will result in the factor multiplying xj, which is the sum over L and N, epsilon L instead of mj, of course, Jn, sigma L xn dot. And V is a function of R. So instead of del V del xj, let's write it as dV dr, the total derivative, of course, because V is a function of R only. So dV dr del R del xj. And here, this negative sign here is written because we changed the sequence of this epsilon. Instead of epsilon ljn, let's write it as epsilon jln. So that's why we introduce this negative sign. And what is del R del xj? Well, R is given by this equation. So del R del xj will be 1 over 2 times this term raised to the negative of 1 over 2 times 2 times xj. These 2 cancel out with these 2, and we get xj over r. So instead of del R del xj, xj over r. And here we are using that this sum over Ln of sigma and the velocity xn dot. If you multiply the mass m, this is the momentum. So this is exactly the j component of the vector sigma cross p. Okay, so del u del xj is given by this equation. What is del u del xj dot? It will be, of course, this has no velocity here, so it will be m. When n is j, then we get the sum over L m, the mass multiplied, of course, the epsilon of L m j of sigma L x m. So this is the factor multiplying the component of the velocity xj dot. And ddt of this term is m sum over Lm of this epsilon sigma L xm dot. That's it. And we can recognize this as the j component of the vector sigma p. Again, multiply m by this velocity, you get the momentum, and then this is the index notation of the cross product of the j component of this cross product. Okay, combining these two results into here, you get Fj is the negative of dV dr times xj over r. This negative sign and this negative sign will give us plus this component of this vector product plus ddt of del u del xj dot is this. So again, we have 2 times this component here. And the result is clearly the negative of dV dr xj over r plus 2 times this component of the vector sigma cross p. But you may want to write it explicitly in terms of the x, y, and z components of the force. So let's write, instead of Fj, Fx, Fy, and Fz, so instead of xj, x, y, and z, and here the same. This is also another form of the answer. And of course, the vector form is clearly the negative of dV dr. You have here x, y, and z, so it will result into the r hat plus 2 times the vector sigma cross p. Well, without loss of generality, assume that sigma, this sigma, is on the z-axis. Let's consider the sigma on the z-axis. Or, the way I prefer to say it, let's consider the z-axis in the direction of the vector sigma. In other words, the components of the vector sigma are 0, 0, and sigma. And the vector sigma cross p will be, here you have, with a positive sign, sigma px in the y direction, and with a negative sign, you have sigma py in the x direction. So considering this, fx will be the negative of dv drx over r. Instead of plus will be the, there is this negative sign, 2 times sigma py. And the y component of this vector will be sigma px, so fy will be the negative of dv dry over r plus 2 times sigma px. And there is no component in the z direction of this for this vector. So fz will be the negative of dv dr z over r only. So using this convention, again, without loss of generality, we get this result here. Let's keep this result, and we are going to use it soon. And let's proceed to find out the components of the force in spherical polar coordinates. Using this convention, to make it easy, the scalar product sigma dot L is just sigma Lz. And the z component of the angular momentum is the mass times x y dot minus y x dot. This is the component of the z component of the angular momentum. Well, we know that in spherical coordinates, x is r sine of theta cosine of phi, y is r sine of theta sine of phi, and z is r cosine of theta. We will need to find out x dot, y dot, and z dot. So x dot is, of course, we will have 3 terms. The first one, r dot times sine of theta cosine of phi plus r times, instead of sine of theta, we will get cosine of theta times theta dot times cosine of phi. And the other one, instead of cosine of phi, we will get the negative of sine of phi times phi dot. And of course, multiplying r and sine of theta. For y dot, the same idea. R dot, sine of theta sine of phi, plus r cosine of theta times theta dot times sine of phi, plus r sine of theta, instead of sine of phi, cosine of phi times phi dot. And z dot will be r dot cosine of theta plus r times the negative of sine of theta times theta dot. So now, this term, x y dot minus y x dot. This is x multiplying y dot here, subtracted by y, r sine of theta sine of phi, and x dot here, this term here. Well, clearly, this term and this term will cancel out. Because here you have r sine of theta, here the same, r sine of theta. This is positive, this has this negative sign. Here you get cosine of phi, here sine of phi, but here you have the opposite. Here is sine of phi and here cosine of phi. And the same term here, r dot sine of theta. So these 2 terms will cancel out. And here the same. You have r theta dot cosine of theta. This is the same factor. And here you have the sine of phi, cosine of phi, and here the opposite, cosine of phi, sine of phi. So they will cancel out. And here you will get r squared, phi dot, sine squared of theta, and then cosine squared of phi. And here in this other term, you have plus the same factor multiplying sine squared of phi. So the remaining term will be just r squared phi dot sine squared of theta. Let's use this result into this term here. So u is v as a function of r plus m sigma times r squared phi dot sine squared of theta. We will keep these results here because we will need them soon. And now the components of the force in R, QR. Well, it will be the negative of del U del R plus ddt of del U del R dot. There is no R dot here in this generalized potential. So this component, this term here will be zero. Concerning del U del R, well, let's keep this negative sign, and then we get dv dr. Again, here is a partial derivative, here is a total derivative because v is a function of r only. So the negative of dv dr, there is this negative sign again, and del U del R of this term will result into 2 times m sigma r phi dot sine squared of theta. Concerning the theta component of the generalized force, q theta, the negative of del U del theta plus ddt of del U del theta dot. Well, there is no theta dot here, so what is del U del theta? Let's consider the negative sign, and then del V del theta is 0 because there is no theta in this potential, in this part of the potential. And here we will get 2 times m sigma r squared phi dot times sine of theta cosine of theta. This is a partial derivative with respect to theta, so that's why there is no theta dot, of course. And the phi component of the generalized force, it is the negative of del U del phi plus ddt del U del phi dot. Well, there is no phi, so this term is 0. And we will calculate ddt of this partial derivative, del U del phi dot. Here there is this phi dot, so this derivative is just m sigma r squared sine squared of theta. Now, the total time derivative of this, we will clearly have 2 terms. The first one, 2 times m sigma r dot sine squared of theta. The other one, 2 times m sigma r squared sine of theta cosine of theta times theta dot. This is a total time derivative, so theta dot is included here naturally. And this is the result. So we can see the complete answer for this item. The components of the force in both Cartesian and spherical polar coordinates. We will keep this result here. We will need it soon, because in letter B, we need to show that the two coordinate systems are related to each other as in this equation.